Serious, what is the biggest secret you've kept from your parents? I make more money than I'll let on. My parents have and will always be the I take care of you all your life. Time for you to pay it back type of parent. Except there is no end to this debt. I recorded Gundam Wing. Endless waltz over my sister's high school graduation video. It's been about 18 years. But I still feel bad. 1. That's a good film. 2. High school graduation is insanely boring and literally nobody would have ever watched that recording. I met the guy my mom told me was my real father. We did a DNA test and there is a 0% chance. He even took me on a whitewater rafting trip with his wife and son. I've never told her. I actually did know why my laptop wasn't working. I spilt a fair bit of Jack Daniels on it. My dad doesn't know that I was suspended due to grades for a semester in college. That I used to sneak out of the house from our second-story bathroom window to go night clubbing with my friends after my parents went to bed. That I was molested as a kid and suicidal for years afterwards. They knew I had a nervous breakdown freshman year of high school and was suicidal at 15. They didn't know I'd been messed up since I was 10. Being sexually abused by my cousins. My parents divorced when I was 8. My dad left. And I never saw much of him. Among other issues. He came out to my brother and I before they divorced. I never told my mother that he was gay. My father passed in 2011. My mother in 2017. I think she had an idea. But we never discussed it. He was born in 1945. Before such a thing was accepted. And attempted at passing. That I constantly fantasized about murdering my verbally and physically abusive stepfather and then killing myself when I was a teen. He treated my mom like and one day he punched me in the face for not washing my dirty dishes which left a permanent gash above my eyebrow. I was really depressed and wanted to die so I thought that I may as well take him with me. I always tried to talk myself into finding some way to kill him. But I never could go through with it. Closest I ever came to doing something was when he was asleep on the couch and my mom was gone to work. I grabbed a knife from the kitchen and just stood over him for a few minutes. Contemplating if I should do it or not. Of course. I never did. Thankfully. He and my mom separated less than a year after that incident. My depression was minimized tremendously after that. Seriously though. That guy. My mum doesn't know I've been arrested twice. When I was at Walmart with my mom. And I stole 2 of those big cartons full of Pokemon cards. Took the cards and stuffed them in my back pocket. I planned the whole robbery a week before. Stole money for weed and regret it to this day. My lazy ass should have just gotten a job instead. When I was around 14 I overheard my parents arguing. My mom was yelling at my dad about some PRN searches on the computer. It was really me that was going on the computer in their room and watching PRN. He kept denying it and she kept calling him a liar. He slept in the guest bedroom for a month after that fight. Your dad knew and totally had your back. I was heavily addicted to morphine for my entire time at university. My depression and the fact I nearly failed out of first year because I couldn't handle university. I used to watch South Park when they thought I was sleeping. I was accused of RP when I was 17, legally an adult in Texas so they didn't have to tell them, and a detective took my phone for the school day to verify the texts proving the encounter was consensual were real. Really weird time in my life. Having to deal with the fallout at school and not telling them the truth. My location for the past 25 years. That my sister is gay. She openly admitted to everyone. Except for my family. She opened up to me. Eventually, but both my parents and older brother don't know about it. Since then we've become a lot closer than when we were kids. I sold pot in high school. Which is nothing compared to your stories because. Damn. This is the darkest thread I've ever seen. I'm sorry this world is. Hopefully you all find serenity. I have been keeping the fact I was sexually assaulted at 13 a secret for years. I just pay escorts to show as my girlfriend so they would stop telling their friends to hook me up with their daughters. Every gathering they would show up, meet everyone, and always have to leave early. Pay by hour. My dad traded him being killed for sexual favors with me for an extended period of time when I was a teen. I told my mom about some of the smaller stuff and she didn't believe me, so I didn't even try. My husband is supportive. I have an eating disorder. I've had one since I was 11. And I even went to the hospital for it. They still don't know. I was a high-functioning depressed alcoholic for my whole college life. My mom always wondered why I didn't have friends in high school, and it is because we were broke and I knew she was struggling, so I refused anytime people wanted to do things so I wouldn't ask for money. Then in my last year of high school I worked full-time, so I had no time to make friends. Parents are, and raised me to be, staunch Mormon. For those unfamiliar, Mormons believe their church is the only true church on earth. Close bracket. I don't believe it's true. They think I still go. But it's infrequent at best. Edit. A lot of people are commenting. Don't all religions think they're true? Yes. But there's a difference. Mormons believe themselves to be Christians. But don't believe that's enough. Part of being the one true church means that you have to be baptized in this church, proper authority. This church is living prophets. You have to get married in a temple to get to the top step of heaven. And so forth. Stepping away from the church, even within the realm of Christianity, still means damnation to Mormons. Edit 2. By damnation, I mean this. Mormons don't believe general people go to hell. Hell is reserved for people who had a full knowledge of Jesus Christ and rejected it. Rather, because Mormons believe they can become gods if they reach the tippy top of the three heavens, where they can have eternal progression. Anything short of eternal progression is, by definition, damnation. When I was 12 I saw emails on my mom's iPod Touch. The emails were very suggestive and were between my mother and another man. I never told my dad that I saw those emails. I wish I did. Because it turned out that she was cheating on him. This is the first time I've mentioned it to anyone. It feels good to get it off my chest. That I'm not going to finish my degree and I've paid off my student loans. My degree was pointless and I don't do well in school due to my ADHD. My dad constantly asks when I'm going to finish and stop bartending. I just say soon. I hate disappointing them because my dad gets very proud of my sister and I with our accomplishments. But truth be told, I'm quite content with the $60k I make bartending. My degree would have only pulled $35k starting. I got someone pregnant and I'm pretty sure she kept the baby and didn't tell me. I'm gonna use an award for this one. I planned on ending my life on a school trip overseas. I was really having a bad time and my head was filled with such bad thoughts and I wanted them to go away. I didn't do it. As you can tell, I didn't want to ruin the trip for everyone else. I couldn't imagine telling my parents. Only one person knows. That I thought I have mental problems, but I keep pushing it down and trying to fix it myself because I think that people will think it's for the attention and it makes me question myself, but I try to be normal. That I'm diagnosed bipolar. The fact that I have been diagnosed with depression since I was 15 and looked for help after 3 suicide attempts. I think my soul is the only person who knows it. And Reddit now. I was molested in our home for years when I was a child by the person they know I hate most. This is also the person they would least suspect, and I doubt my parents would even believe me. This is all despite the fact that my mom walked in on one of the times I was actively being molested and held a conversation with us while it happened. I was horrified because I was in danger. My sexual assault. My mom's knows now, but it was a good 15 years after the fact. It has been 17 years and I will never tell them. They're very conservative and always blame the victim when watching the news, or if they don't blame the victim they say they're overreacting or exaggerating or making it up, because why wouldn't someone go to the police right away? Or how could you forget something like who or where or what day? Yup. Never telling them I didn't report and there are details I don't remember. Never ever. I snorted my Ritalin prescription for 7 years before I finally started taking it normally again. That I'm a lesbian. That friend who I don't invite home anymore is actually my ex. That I'm bi and I was dating women. One came on vacation with us and stayed in my room. The fact that I work out hard and heavy. My mom thinks that muscles on girls are gross. And for the years that she knew I worked out she treated me like I'm gross too. It was heartbreaking for me. So now I pretend that I lost interest in lifting weights and I'm much happier this way. The true fact is that I gave it up for 2 months and couldn't stand life without it. It's sad that I can't keep my mom in the loop of my most loved passion. But I've accepted it. Just how abusive my ex was. I lived with my girlfriend Fiancé for 5 years in a house 45 minutes from where my parents lived prior to us being married. They are very conservative and would have likely not attended the wedding had they known. That one of my friends got me drunk and arped me on the couch in the living room. She got pregnant as well. I kept the truth of how I got my big ass scar on my forearm secret for like 15 years. I found my dad's cocaine. I feel like I don't know him anymore. I never want him to know I found it. I'm still a minor and still live with them. Edit. I know it's not the end of the world and doesn't make him a bad person. It's just hard to imagine him doing that. Along with sex and other adult behaviors. I would just rather not know. How much I cry. They have too much to deal with and I've learned to handle it on my own and get back to my normal smiley self. I know that my mom's cheating on my dad. He doesn't know it's happening, to my knowledge, and she doesn't know that I know. Okay, this is pretty tame compared to these other comments. I sometimes grab lunch or dinner on the way home from class. And I don't tell them. If I did, I'd probably get yelled for wasting money when we have perfectly good food at home. My mom's cooking is great, but sometimes I just want to grab some pizza. Recently she's been on some obscure health diet plan that she's forcing everyone through. But it's a bit ridiculous. They don't know how depressed I actually am. They had no idea I left my job with the cable company to sell cars, write up oil changes for almost a year. I was emotionally burnt out from the bull and couldn't take it anymore, so I tried switching careers. Didn't really pan out. But it did get me away from that toxic hole of a company and allowed me to figure out what I actually wanted to do and go from there. That my old social worker, who they credit with saving my life back in high school. That I have a GF. I want to be a dental surgeon. But my parents want me to go to school for a crackpot anti-vax holistic naturopathic doctor because they don't trust modern medicine. I'm afraid that if I tell them, they will refuse to pay for my college dental school expenses. Or worse, disowned. That I genuinely have no desire to have a relationship with them. If it wasn't for the wife planning dinners with my mother, I would have no relationship at all. Father left in my teenage years and is a pathological liar. So I'm better off without him too. I'm already married. I smashed a supermarket window. That I smoke cigarettes. I have divorced parents who each got remarried and each had 3 kids with their new spouse. And I split time between the 2 houses. I have 6 siblings that are all half siblings. I've never told them that the reason I never go home is because I hate feeling like a tourist with my own family. I'm the only one who is there 50% of the time. I don't feel like I belong to either family, honestly. The sheer amount of times I've been sexually assaulted in some way. I tried to open up about it once to my mom, but she accused me of dreaming it up or lying and said it wasn't possible because of how big of a girl I am. Apparently just because I'm tall and strong it's impossible for me to have been through all that. Small secret. Back in high school days, I stole $20 out of my mom's wallet and then concocted a complicated but realistic lie to keep it. Big secret. I'm an atheist. I'm glad they have a big community of people who love them at their church. And it's nice that some of those people knew me when I was small. But I have no love for their shared belief system. I'm angry that they wanted me to believe in it, too. And when I said I didn't, they lashed out at me in very cruel ways. I never told my dad I was trans. I tried on his deathbed, but I couldn't do it. Well, it goes for my family too. But they are the reason I want to kill myself. Don't worry, I am fine for now though. That I was sexually assaulted at 15 and that I have PTSD from both that event and years of emotional abuse that eventually led to me almost committing suicide. My partner knows and has helped me immensely, but I'll be taking that to my grave and posting it to Reddit before I ever tell either of my parents. Also same on the South Park comment up there. That is a lesbian. My parents are very staunch Muslims. They raised me strictly in Islam and they figure that I'm a good Muslim like the rest of my siblings. I love my parents and they are good people. But I don't have the heart to tell them that I've never really believed in religion and it only got worse when I got older and went to college. I don't know how to keep this facade any longer because whenever I'm home I have to act as Muslim as possible. And I know if I would want them in my life I would have to follow Islamic traditions that just aren't for me. That I'm really BS'd with major depression. I once mentioned people who were B to him and learned he is very homophobic and through other conversation that he looks down on people with depression, so yeah. I've sucked multiple dicks. Kind of wish I was a girl. Occasionally cross-dresser. And have done a fair amount of drugs. Supposedly straight dude from super religious conservative family. I think they never should been given reproductive organs. I've made a plan to kill myself years from now. I've made it specifically so that I give 1 year each to everyone that I love. I'm scared to tell them because I don't want them to stress. But I just can't mentally take life anymore and I can't cope with living like this for 20 plus more years. Semicolon. Edit. I didn't expect anyone to see this. I was really just trying to get it off my chest. I am completely overwhelmed by all of the kindness from you all. I cried reading through your messages. I'm at a complete loss right now and I can barely function day to day. But I will give serious thought to your suggestions. And I know that at least when I'm feeling very low I'll have some things to read through. I'm at a loss, but thanks, guys. They think I'm studying right now. That I was sexually and verbally abused for a little over 2 years in high school. Also, they're unaware of the truth of how I got the scars on my thighs. I'm sure they suspect that the story I told them was a lie. But I still can't bring myself to tell them the truth. That my mum's abuse has caused my depression and I have suicidal thoughts all the time. This isn't too bad. But I never really want to have kids. Maybe one day that might change. But I haven't told my parents as they both seem so happy to think that one day they'll be grandparents and that I'll be a mother and we'll all be happy and mum. I already have enough stress. So many drugs. They still don't know I'm ace. But I doubt it will matter much to them and they would still love me even though I can't love. Also, I knew my grandpa wasn't my biological grandpa for years. My mom hid that from me. My brother and my sister, but when he died and she had to get the testaments to inherit from him I realized it. Mom told my sister this summer. Who then said I've known for a long while. She immediately called me. Said she was sorry but I told her that we didn't care if he was our biological grandpa or not. He's the one who has been there for us for our whole lives. And that's the important thing. No grudge whatsoever. And I could hear a sigh of relief coming from my mom on the other end of the phone. That I might be B. My parents are super religious and would hate me if I told them. It's honestly scary. If anyone has any advice, it would help a lot. Edit. Tism for all your replies guys, it's been really helpful. Considering that they're super religious, I would honestly suggest not telling them. And yes, I realize how much this sucks. Growing up in the closet is a terrible thing I would never wish on anyone. And this is exactly why you need to find other people who are immediately accepting of who you are. Friends, teachers, counselors, internet strangers. Just someone you can talk to freely. Also, it's okay to experiment and have uncertainties about these things. You may change your mind, or you might not. Either way, what's important is that you've reached a better understanding of yourself and your feelings. They are valid no matter what. Sincerely. Got an abortion last year. I smoke. I lost my V-plates when I was 14. I live in a Christian family that still think I'm a virgin. I never heard the term V-plates before. Pretty sure the Christian kids have way more SX than anyone else SMH. I am transgender. I haven't told literally anyone I know. I live in the Bible Belt in the South. And my grandfather is the pastor and owner of a fairly large church. I don't have any plans on telling anyone or transitioning until I move from the town I'm living in right now. My mom does not really know the reason my dental health is ed from stress-induced teeth grinding, which she knew about and did nothing about it. Nor does she know the major reason as to why I have notable social anxiety and other psychological problems. She's gonna find out sooner or later, I am sure. I do not live with her anymore for a reason. My ex uphead me. I'm bi. And I haven't told them. I've hinted at it a few times. But I mainly go for guys. I want children. And don't want to waste any amazing girl's time. I think they've sometimes thought I was. But they've never asked me. I know they would accept me. 100%. I just don't feel it's something that needs some grand reveal. I just don't want to tell them and they immediately reassure me that they love me and make a big deal about acceptance. I know they would. And don't find it a big deal to say that I'm the one eating all their GRPs. My sexuality lol. That I'm okay and doing well despite the fact that I'm faltering hard and fast in every aspect of my life. I've been struggling with depression, crippling loneliness, abandonment issues, and social pressure for since I was 6 years old. And I've come to nearly ending my life on many occasions. I feel that my explanations might not be the best for telling my story. So I won't. But I've been handling my case better now. No more suicide attempts. I still crave for connection and love but still no luck yet. Being transgender and bisexual. Nice try, dad. I am a bisexual. Only my friends are privy to that.